है। उस वक्त गाड़ी के अंदर जो पैसेंजर्स उसके अंदर ही थे और इस एक्सप्लोजन से जो है आसपास की गाड़ियों में भी क्षति हुई। जैसे ही इसकी खबर मिली हम सारी एजेंसीज जो है दिल्ली पुलिस, एफएसएल, एनआईए, एनएसजी, उनकी टीम्स यहाँ पे आ चुकी हैं और हालात का जायजा भी ले रही है। हर तरीके से इस जो है एक्सप्लोजन के बारे में जांच की जा रही है और जल्दी ही इसका आकलन करके इसका जो भी रिजल्ट निकलेगा वो आपको बताया जाएगा। इस इंसिडेंट में कुछ लोग को इंजरीज भी आई हैं और कुछ लोगों की डेथ भी हुई है, तो वो अभी हालात का जायजा लिया जा रहा है और एग्जैक्ट फिगर्स जो हैं आपको कुछ ही देर में बता दी जाएंगी और सिचुएशन को रेगुलरली मॉनिटर किया जा रहा है और गृह मंत्री जी भी जो है उनसे रेगुलरली उनका फ़ोन भी आया था, उनको रेगुलरली ब्रीफ किया जा रहा है और उनको टाइम टू टाइम पूरी सूचना दी जा रही है और आगे जैसे भी हालात होंगे जो भी नतीजा निकलेगा आपको बताया जाएगा। अभी इसको आकलन किया जा रहा है।
Was it an IED blast? He didn't say anything. We are still assessing what's going on, what's the situation. That's the official version, but intel sources confirming to CNN News 18 via Manoj Gupta, this is a terror attack. One or two possible IED devices could be used. Both Manoj Gupta and Arunima confirming that. 3, one suspect is in custody. That's what intel sources tell CNN News 18 via Manoj Kumar Gupta. That one suspect is in custody and we would get more details very, very soon. Was it a urea bomb or a fertilizer bomb that was used to trigger this blast in a slow-moving vehicle? Did it explode before its stated time and intent? We have to wait and watch. This is happening around a time when a massive terror module bust has happened. 2 doctors involved, 3 doctors actually involved, not just with weapons, but also with 3,000 kilograms of explosive-making material, including ammonium nitrate. And there is also another ISKP module that where a doctor was trying to make ricin, which he wanted to mix it with prasad at temples and also common drinking water and create mass casualties. So both kinetic and non-kinetic versions of terror being implemented. Huge dynamic this, viewers, but we will try and get you more details. Anshul is with us again live from the spot. Yes, Anshul.
Yes, I'll just try and show you in the visuals. There still is a lot of movement that is already happening over here. The FHL teams have just reached over here and they are monitoring the exact location where the blast happened and what was the exact reasons. They are trying to ascertain this at this point in time. But as we just heard the police commissioner for the first time on record, that a slow-moving vehicle reached near this red light where we are standing right now, and just at that moment there was a blast that happened over here. And there were passengers who were present inside that vehicle as well. So that vehicle is being looked into by the Delhi police to figure out as to if at all this was an IED that was used over there. Were there splinters that were also used? Because the number of casualties that has come out, these casualties are heavy casualties. If at all 8 people have lost their lives till now, as has been confirmed by the LNJP hospital, then definitely this IED that would have been used, if at all it was used, then it could have been a massive IED blast that would have happened over here. But the eyewitnesses on ground are also telling us that yes, the manner in which the blast had happened, they heard a loud noise that came out over here, and post that there were several people who had gotten injured. The initial reports that the Delhi police has gathered from several of the nearby hospitals is that at least 20 injuries has happened till now. 8 deaths have been happened is what we can confirm by the way of sources. However, the official statement after the investigation will come out what kind of ID was it.
Have you been able to speak with any eyewitnesses around people who were there at about 6:52 p.m.? That's when the incident happened. We got confirmation it was around 6:55 that a first call of distress went, but 6:52 p.m. is the exact time that the police commissioner said the attack happened. The fire was doused by 7:29 p.m. But were you able to speak with people who were present when this happened? How close are you from the exact spot where this vehicle was moving on the road? I'm sure that's been cordoned off, but what can you see around you? Are the vehicles being cleared, or is that area just being marked and ringed so that nobody can access it?
Well, this entire area has completely been evacuated at this point in time. Not only the gates of the Red Forts where this incident had happened. In fact, right across the Red Fort, right across the Red Fort on the other side of the streets as well. If I could just show you in the visuals over here as well, the entire area has been evacuated. It is just the media personals and the security forces who are present over here. You can see the visuals of fire vehicles that are still present on the spot. There are other emergency response vehicles. The ambulances are still on the spot. So definitely the Delhi police is making sure that they leave no stone unturned in carrying out this entire investigation, and safety of people, the locals, is also something that needs to be looked into very seriously at this point in time, and that is the reason why this entire area has now been absolutely been evacuated. The movement of vehicles have been stopped on this very busy road out here, right outside the Red Fort. So definitely there is a sense of panic.
Was it moving? Where was it moving? Was it on the main road that this car was moving?
What we have been told that the gate number one of the metro station is the location that is right over here. The visuals that you are seeing on your screens right now. This is the gate number one of the metro station of Red Fort, and it is right over here that this entire incident has happened. Right outside the initial barricades that are put outside the gates of the Red Fort where the incident has happened is what we are being told.
So is there a parking lot there? Was that car?
Area has been.
Why is there a parking lot there, Anshul? Just allow, explain to our viewers who are not from Delhi, who have not perhaps come to Red Fort, what's the lay of the land? Was this car entering the parking area, or just the entrance towards gate number one? Was it coming out of that area? Because there are people inside the car. This exploded suddenly. Now, it's all about inference from the investigating agencies. Were they carrying a sticky bomb or a fertilizer bomb inside, and did it go blast before the intended time and schedule? We don't know. Was it just the car that exploded with its cylinder battery, and were they carrying some material which was incendiary and this triggered that? Just explain the lay of the land to us, our viewers.
Also, I'll just try and show you in the visuals over here. Right, if you could see over here, these are the gates of metro station gate number one over here. And while the vehicle was approaching from this red light towards gate number one of the metro station, which is a general movement area, it is at that location that the car suddenly the speed of the car slowed down, as has been seen by Delhi police. The speed of the vehicle slowed down, and then eventually a blast happened. There were people who were present inside the vehicle, is what the Delhi police has confirmed to us. But how many people were present? Were there women, children also sitting? That is something that is still being investigated. 8 people have lost their lives. But anyone who is not from Delhi can actually can
do you spot the Jammu Kashmir police there at the area? I'm just going to check with you to see if you spot Delhi police, Jammu Kashmir police, along with the top NSG team, post-blast forensic team, and also the special cell of the Delhi police. Do you spot the Jammu and Kashmir police? Because if that happens, that means there's a connection with the terror module bust earlier and what's happened right now at Red Fort. Arunima, that would be a big conclusion for us to be able to, or parallel to be able to, for us to be able to draw, if there are JK police personnel also present at Red Fort right now.
What is your pulse?
Arunima, can you hear me? All right. We'll try and go across to Mr. Shashikant and also Major Manik Jolly, just checking if they have... Shashikant ji is still with us. Shashikant ji, now, if Jammu and Kashmir police is also present there, then we can draw this parallel that there could be a link. Was this the first of the many blasts that are going to be triggered? And did this entire haul, like you said, save Bharat from many more, perhaps, series of attacks?
God forbid. I hope that there are not going to be any more such incidents. But the CP's statement, that gives rise to 2 questions. Of course, he said that they're going to get into the investigation and they'll come back to the press and to people later on. Yes, okay. But the question is, if the car was slow moving, it was moving towards wherever it was going, if it was not accidental, and to my mind, as what till now it appears that it was certainly a terrorist attack, were they going to plant the bomb somewhere, number one? And if they were not going to plant the bomb somewhere, The second question, hypothesis comes up, was it some kind of suicide attack, suicide blast, or that kind of thing? The guys they say, the CP said the guys were sitting in the car. If they were sitting in the car, then the police investigation needs to go into this direction also. Was it some suicide kind of thing? If it's that, that's going to be extremely serious. And if they're going to plant it again, that's again equally serious.
Yes.
Because maybe they were trying to plant it somewhere near the railway station or something. God forbid, if such was the plan, then possibly there could have been more incidents. Thank you.
Yes, true. It could have been far greater, far more sinister. Did it go off before its intended time? That's one point. And is this modus very similar to the 2010, 2011 incidences where car bombs were being planted? Are there parallels to the Coimbatore module where a similar attempt was being made? What's the connection with the J&K module? Why is the J&K police present there? These are all questions that need to be answered. Akash has spoken with an eyewitness. Let's listen in.
An explosion has happened here in the Red Fort area, and I have got one witness who was very much here at the time when this explosion has happened. Sir, आपका नाम क्या है? एक बार अगर हमें बताएं.
मेरा नाम बलवीर सिंह है.
बलवीर जी, कितने बजे का ये वाकया है? आप कहाँ थे?
7 बजे का वाकया है. मैं अपनी गाड़ी में बैठा हुआ फोन चला रहा था.
अच्छा, क्या कुछ हुआ अगर हमें बता पाएं एक बार?
ब्लास्ट हुआ, आवाज आई ब्लास्ट की. ब्लास्ट के बाद आग लग गई, फिर वो आग बढ़ती चली गई. सारे लोग भागे तो हम भी अपनी गाड़ी में से उतर के भाग गए.
लगभग कितने बजे की ये बात है?
7 बजे की बात है सर.
लगभग 7 बजे की बात है. और आप यहीं मतलब
मैं अपनी गाड़ी में बैठा था, फोन चला रहा था.
अच्छा, तो ये हमें बताया जा रहा है कि गेट नंबर 1 के पास का ये मामला है. आप कितनी दूर थे लगभग उस साइड से?
मैं 100 मीटर दूर था.
अच्छा, बताया जा रहा है
मेरी गाड़ी 100 मीटर दूर थी ब्लास्ट से.
अच्छा, बताया जा रहा है कि इसमें कुछ लोगों की जान भी गई है, कुछ लोग घायल भी हैं.
जान गई है बिल्कुल.
कितने लोग आपके हिसाब से? लगभग
8-10 लोग खत्म हुए हैं.
अच्छा, और उसके बाद फिर फायर टेंडर्स और ये पुलिस की गाड़ी आई लगभग कितनी देर में?
पुलिस की गाड़ी 5 मिनट में आ गई सर.
अच्छा, 5 मिनट में आ गई.
और पुलिस की गाड़ी 5 मिनट में आ गई. फायर ब्रिगेड भी 5 मिनट में आ गई और आग पे काबू पाया सबने. और हमारे पुलिस अधिकारियों ने बहुत अच्छा काम किया.
अच्छा, हमें बताया जा रहा है कि अभी पुलिस कमिश्नर ने बताया कि एक स्लो व्हीकल था जिसमें ये ब्लास्ट हुआ. आपके हिसाब से क्या कुछ किसी
गाड़ी स्लो ही चल रही थी. गाड़ी तेज नहीं चल रही थी. गाड़ी तेज चलने का मतलब ही नहीं है. गाड़ी तो स्लो ही चल रही थी.
नहीं, तो ये ब्लास्ट गाड़ी में हुआ है. बताया जा रहा है कि एक स्लो चलती हुई गाड़ी थी, उसमें ब्लास्ट हुआ है.
सर, ऐसा नहीं कह सकता मैं किस चीज में ब्लास्ट हुआ है. मैं अपनी गाड़ी में बैठा हूँ और ब्लास्ट हो गया तो मुझे भी नहीं पता इस बात का.
अच्छा, ठीक है. आप सब कुशल हैं? आपको तो कहीं?
हाँ, मैं ठीक हूँ सर.
All right. So this person was very much here available when this explosion happened.
So that's what the eyewitness says. He was sitting 100 meters away in his car operating phone chala raha tha. He was sitting and browsing his phone. That's when he heard this explosion. And it was a slow moving vehicle. Was this vehicle going to a particular area and an intended destination? Why were there people inside the car? What was their intent? Was this a sticky bomb or a fertilizer urea bomb that just went ahead of its time and it took away along with the intended and of course people innocents around the terrorist module too? One suspect is in custody. That one suspect could divulge many more details. Is it linked to this massive haul that's happened because of the investigations over the last one whole week that culminated with a huge haul of 3,000 kilograms of near explosive material or explosive making material, along with the arrests of 2 doctors and a third one who could be a known accomplice? Is this a larger module? Is somebody planning a series of attacks in Bharat? And is this happening 7 months after Operation Sindoor? All authorities are on high alert. Delhi, Mumbai, UP, the NCR region on high alert, viewers. 8 people dead, 20 people injured. This is the Red Fort blast and this is continuous coverage. Rahul Shivshankar with us now.
Very big day, viewers. Very significant day. Remember, Operation Sindoor is still on. I'm not trying to draw any parallels here. We don't quite know if this is a terror incident or not. But what I can tell you is that the Delhi Police Commissioner Satish Golcha has come out today and said that at around 6:52 p.m. in the evening, a slow-moving vehicle stopped at the red light. So this was a vehicle that was on the move. It comes to a crawl and stops eventually at a red light. An explosion happened in this particular vehicle and it damaged the other vehicles around it. Viewers, as you know, this was a high-intensity blast. We don't quite know what the nature of the explosive was. We don't even know if it was triggered as some sort of a foul play or a terror incident, because none of that has been confirmed. All we can tell you is that the FSL, which is a forensic science laboratory team, the NIA, the Delhi Police Special Cell. They're all crawling and combing this particular area. They've cordoned it off. Massive blast in the sense, viewers, that the intensity was so great that the cars that were close to this particular vehicle, this slow-moving vehicle that suddenly stopped at a traffic light and exploded, all of those cars, viewers, have been charred, their doors ripped off their frames, and there have been casualties. We've been told that 8 people are dead. They were brought dead to the hospital. They obviously didn't survive it. Some of their bodies were in a mangled situation. Some of them were, viewers, severed at joints and limbs. And we have been told by eyewitnesses, and those videos are out there, which I will play for you in just a few moments, that there were a large number of body parts that were strewn across this particular area. We don't quite know, viewers, if there are others who are in a state of criticality. What we can tell you is that several others have been admitted to hospital, the local hospitals very, very close by. They're taken in an ambulance. The ambulance were called there. There were private ambulances that were called there because the police chowki or the police booth in the area quickly hailed them, and they came in. And we've heard from various ambulance drivers that the scene was blood-curdling, to say the least. So, viewers, you've had a situation where there's been a blast in Delhi. We don't know if this is linked to terror antecedents, but it's now safe to say that there might have been foul play, that there might have been links, that this was a suspected IED explosion, and therefore there are reasons to believe, pending confirmation, viewers, that this was a nefarious act committed by some diabolical individuals. If you really look at the larger picture, it's come on the back, really, of a crackdown that has been extending over 48 hours, viewers. 48 hours across the country, specifically in the north, specifically in Jammu and Kashmir, Faridabad, Haryana, etc., as well as on the East Coast, viewers, where, or West Coast rather, viewers, where a whole bunch of individuals, including 4 doctors, have been picked up because they were harboring some devastating quantities of explosives. There were 2 operations. There were 2 sets of people who have been nabbed. In each set, there were doctors, viewers. So the police has come out and suggested that terror has gone white collar terrorists. That's all happening in the backdrop. And then you have this particular blast. Just when we were thinking that perhaps a larger conspiracy had been stalled, we have this blast in the heart of the union capital. We haven't had a blast of this nature since 2011. The Delhi High Court blast, where there were casualties. First time, viewers. Since then, there has been a blast of this magnitude. And I just want to quickly go across to our reporters on the ground. I want to go straight across to Anshul to get the latest there from the ground. We'll play out also, of course, the Delhi Police Commissioner's soundbite. We'll also play out Verite, which is eyewitnesses, and also we will boost the audio on the footage all in one step, and we'll open this up to our experts. Yes, Anshul, what can you tell us? What's happening on the ground there?
I'll just try and show you in the visuals over here. This is a part of the vehicle that initially blasted. If you could just see the condition of this entire gate, this is one of the gates of the vehicle that had blasted and come all the way on the other side of the road. And if you could just see in the visuals, this is the exact red light where the said incident had happened, where the vehicle came out in slow speed, and then eventually a blast occurred. And you can imagine the magnitude of the blast, that this one gate of the said vehicle has now come out and landed on the other side of the road. So you can imagine the magnitude of this entire blast. And if I can just give you a sense of this location, this red light, these are the main gates of Chandni Chowk market, the main gates of the Chandni Chowk market, where vehicular movement is not allowed. You can only enter through your feet. And on the other side, bang opposite, is the Red Fort, from where the Prime Minister gives his 15th August speech. So this is one of the high-profile areas, one of the areas which sees a lot of footfall day in and day out. And this magnitude of blast that has happened, at least 8 people have been...
Well, there's some more big breaking news coming in. Anshul, just hold your thoughts. Delhi Police is confirming to CNN News 18 that it was a Hyundai i20 car. The vehicle had 2 or 3 occupants. The impact of the rear of the vehicle is where most of the impact took place, because the blast really took place from there. in the context of the present scenario, the police saying we've alerted security personnel. This is coming from Kolkata Metro because a large number of warnings have been issued to major metropolises because, viewers, as I told you, it's happening in the backdrop of the police cracking down on a major terror cell. So we've recovered in a previous incident just this morning and overnight 2.5 tons of ammonium nitrate, which was an explosive that was used by the Indian Mujahideen, viewers, if you remember, in the 2000s, right up till, of course, the 26/11 blast. And in those attacks, ammonium nitrate, a kind of ingredient that goes in for fertilizers, was used, and that is what was recovered. We also are being told that the basic ingredients to prepare one sort of gas that is used to basically kill large numbers of people. It's an odorless gas, and it is called resin. That was, of course, also recovered. So there are these many connections. And in the backdrop of that, viewers, we've had this terror attack. It's now been confirmed that this was a terror attack. A Hyundai car with 2 or 3 occupants comes up. It crawls to a stop near a traffic light just outside, in fact, the Lal Quila or the Red Fort metro station. It's detonated. You have a number of people who then immediately on the spot find themselves in very bad state. 8 die en route to the hospital. The first big terror incident, viewers, has taken place after 2011 in the Union capital. The Delhi High Court blast was the last one in 2011. We'll try to pull out footage from back then and try and split the screen. But fundamentally, viewers, this is a major development. Now we know that some 2 or 3 people were in that car in an I-20, and that, in fact, was the one that blew up, and it detonated other cars around it. So at least 6 or 7 other vehicles were impacted, and you can see that some of those vehicles are still lying about there, strewn across the entire incident site, viewers, and they look in advanced state of disrepair. No crater has been found on the spot. The vehicle was slow moving. No pellet injury prima facie. There are many burn wounds to some of the other people who have taken to the hospital and are undergoing treatment. We don't know if they're in a critical condition, but suffice to think that there will be, of course, people who will be grievously injured in all of this. And you can see one of them there. It's a 3-wheeler auto rickshaw driver who's trying to haul his damaged, mangled auto rickshaw out of harm's way. We do know that there are, of course, casualties that have taken place. 8. Let me just quickly go back to Anshul. Anshul, what are you seeing on the spot there?
Well, I'll just try and show you in the visuals. The first thing that is clearly visible is this gate of the vehicle that got hampered in the blast. Probably this is the gate of that I-20 vehicle that eventually resulted in the blast. Apart from this, if I could just give you a sense of this entire area, this is the red light where, in fact, the vehicle came out initially slowly, started to slow down over here, and then eventually a blast happened. There were people who were sitting inside the vehicle, is what we are being told. At least 3 people is what sources are telling us. But were they male, were they female, were there any children also present over there? That is something that has still not been confirmed. But apart from that, if you look at this entire locality, this will give you a very clear sense as to what is the exact location over here. This is the main gate of Chandni Chowk. The Jan Mandir is right over here, and bang opposite is the location from where the Prime Minister gives his 15th August speech. So this is one of the high-profile areas and an area where there is a massive footfall that happens. And even after that, such an incident has happened. What are the exact reasons? Was it an IED that was used? Was it some other? Was it some other thing that was used, or was it just a general CNG blast? This is something that we are waiting for an official confirmation to come in. But even as the investigation is going on, the agencies and Delhi police are not ruling out anything at this point in time. They continue to maintain that it is too early to come to any conclusion.
Let me play out that soundbite, viewers, for your confirmation. You can listen to how circumspect the Delhi police chief was. Let's play that out, and then I want to go straight across to Anvit and also bring in Major Gaurav Arya into this conversation. Yes.
आज करीब 6:52 पे एक यहाँ पे रेड लाइट पे एक स्लो मूविंग व्हीकल जो रेड लाइट की तरफ आके रुका था, उसमें एक ये एक्सप्लोजन हुआ है। उस वक्त गाड़ी के अंदर जो पैसेंजर्स उसके अंदर ही थे और इस एक्सप्लोजन से जो है आसपास की गाड़ियों में भी क्षति हुई। जैसे ही इसकी खबर मिली हम सारी एजेंसीज जो है दिल्ली पुलिस, एफएसएल, एनआईए, एनएसजी, उनकी टीम्स यहाँ पे आ चुकी हैं और हालात का जायजा भी ले रही है। हर तरीके से इस जो है एक्सप्लोजन के बारे में जांच की जा रही है और जल्दी ही इसका आकलन करके इसका जो भी रिजल्ट निकलेगा वो आपको बताया जाएगा। इस इंसिडेंट में कुछ लोग को इंजरीज भी आई हैं और कुछ लोगों की डेथ भी हुई है, तो वो अभी हालात का जायजा लिया जा रहा है और एग्जैक्ट फिगर्स जो हैं आपको कुछ ही देर में बता दी जाएंगी और सिचुएशन को रेगुलरली मॉनिटर किया जा रहा है और गृह मंत्री जी भी जो है उनसे रेगुलरली उनका फ़ोन भी आया था, उनको रेगुलरली ब्रीफ किया जा रहा है और उनको टाइम टू टाइम पूरी सूचना दी जा रही है और आगे जैसे भी हालात होंगे जो भी नतीजा निकलेगा आपको बताया जाएगा।
Well, we are being told, viewers, and it's bad news. 2 more people have lost their lives. So there are 10 people now in total that have lost their lives in this particular incident, viewers. We still await final confirmation from the police whether this is actually a terror incident. But I can tell you that a large number of metropolises across India have been put on high alert. Mumbai, you have Srinagar, Noida, you have huge worry and security detailing taking place in Kolkata, Ghaziabad. As I said, viewers, all these metropolises have been placed on high alert. I want to very quickly go across to Anvit. Anvit, give us an overview really of what the investigations are likely to determine in the next few hours. We are being told that a large number of people have been detained. They are thought to be suspects. Can you clarify this? What is this news? How can there be suspects when 3 individuals in a car supposedly were the cause of this blast?
Rahul, see, what initial details have emerged from Delhi Police's investigation is that it was an I-20 car and that was a slow-moving I-20 car in which explosion took place, and we are being told that it was on the rear side of the vehicle that the explosion took place, which could possibly be the boot of the car, where usually if it was an explosive, if there was a use of RDX or IED, then that is the place where usually it has been seen previously also. It had been concealed. You can see ambulances are still making their way into the hospitals. This is, n number of ambulances that are coming in, rushing into the hospital from the spot, and regularly these ambulances have been spotted here. But regardless of that, investigation is currently going on. Delhi police have said that in that I-20 car, what they have initial investigation has shown that at least there were 2 to 3 occupants. The senior police officials from Delhi police has confirmed this, and we also asked that if any of them have been in Delhi police's custody or any of them could be apprehended from the spot. However, there's no clarity on that officially so far.
Okay.
But Delhi police have said that there were 2 to 3 occupants. It was an I-20 car. This car was slow moving and then explosion takes place, and nearby vehicles have also been impacted. Also, 2 things have been confirmed, that there are no pellet injuries and there was no crater on the ground that has been noticed by the forensics team. So this also hints that there could not be any explosive if possible. There were no splinters used, and also no crater has been found. So investigation on all aspects are currently underway. Priority of Delhi police and Delhi fire services and the first responders is to make sure that the site is cleared, and those who are injured and those who seek medical attention, they are rushed to hospital. We are right now outside LNGP hospital, where at least 8 officially have been confirmed dead, while at least 16 people are injured. We are being told that 2 or more have been pronounced dead. However, official confirmation of that from the director of LNGP is yet to be out. But what we are being told that at least 5 to 6 are others who are critically injured, and their situation is currently being continuously monitored.
Well, we're being told, viewers, that Chandni Chowk market to be closed on Tuesday following the blast near the Red Fort. Market Association President Sanjay Bhargav has come out and said so. This is obviously an attempt, viewers, to ensure that there is no other untoward incident in the days ahead. Because remember, I told you, viewers, that this blast has taken place in the backdrop of a massive terror crackdown across the length and breadth of North India, viewers. 2 separate crackdowns involving doctors turned jihadis, viewers, who had amassed huge amounts of explosives. One particular doctor was harboring the ingredients to make a chemical weapon, the ingredients to make a gas, viewers, that could kill hundreds of people on dispersal. And another doctor and his accomplices had amassed 2.5 tons of ammonium nitrate, an ingredient that is used to make explosives. And it was thought that perhaps by this particular crackdown, a major tragedy would have been averted. But unfortunately, viewers, we've had an incident, we've had a blast. I can't right now tell you whether this is a terror attack, but indications are that it might be. A number of people are dead, 10, according to the top line number that we've received. Several others are injured. This particular blast in magnitude and in casualties matches the 2011 Delhi High Court blast. First time in 14 years, viewers, that we've had a blast of this magnitude in the capital. We're being told that a car that was perhaps driven by one individual accompanied by 2 or 3 others came to a halt, a gradual halt near a traffic light right outside the Red Fort metro station and suddenly exploded. The explosion was so intense and the fireball so big that it quickly engulfed 2 or 3 other, 4 other cars around it, viewers, reducing it to ashes and reducing those cars to mulch, basically. That's why we have these casualties. 10 that died pretty much on the spot, viewers, even before they could be taken to hospital because their bodies were dismembered. Eyewitnesses have told us that. We'll play out those sound bites in just a few moments. I want to quickly go across to Major Gaurav Arya and get a sense really of what he's making of all of this. Gaurav Arya, can't say right now if this is a terror attack. The indications are nothing is being ruled out. What do you make of this?
Thank you, Rahul. Rahul, this is certainly not an accident. I mean, this kind of explosion that has occurred, this is not some, LNG gas or something that has burst or something like that, because it's the sheer circumference of the blast is so much that this is an explosive that has been used. I don't know what kind. We'll have to wait for the experts to let us know whether it was RDX or any other kind of plastic explosive. But this is certainly not a low-grade explosive. So that is all that I can say. Plus, to have this kind of an impact, you will need a lot of low-grade explosive. And we are told that the car was an I-10. So perhaps, and this is a guess, this is an educated guess at best from my part, that on my part, that this is not an accident. You can see the visuals. It does not look like an accident. I don't have much information on this, but I can say one thing, that 2.5 tons of ammonium nitrate, which is not very difficult to procure, by the way. It's not that it's coming from Pakistan. It's from inside India. And castor oil, we've all had castor oil as kids. We didn't like it necessarily, but ricin is from castor oil plant. So that can be used as a weapon, as a biological weapon, as a chemical weapon. So all these things have been collected for a long time. And the police, last 48 hours, like you mentioned, the cops had tightened the noose. And this explosion happened. Circumstantial evidence points to the fact that this is a terror act, but we cannot say for sure. We'll have to wait for the experts to, guide us on that one and educate us on that one.
Well, Major Arya, of course, one of the modules, or one of the fragments of the modules, was actually traced to Faridabad. So that's very much in the NCR region.
Absolutely.
And one could conjecture that perhaps somebody in the larger module decided to go ahead before they were discovered. So it's possible, viewers.
Absolutely. Rahul, absolutely. This is exactly what I had in mind, that since the dragnet was closing, there was a sense of desperation that we have to do something before we get caught. And there is one more thing I'd like to say. I've often repeated this. I just tweeted it when the show started, that हमारा इतिहास है किले के दरवाजे हर समय अंदर से खुलते हैं. It's always somebody who opens the doors of the fort from within the fort. This has been our history for hundreds of years.
Well, viewers, too early to speculate, but we will have that conversation in just a few moments. NND Dubey, former DIG BSF, joins us also. RK Yadav, former RNAW officer, also with us. We will be opening this out to more guests in just a few moments. But quickly, let's pick the brains of some of our experts. NND Dubey Saab, what do you make of this? This comes on the back of a crackdown on a wider terror net.
Actually, if you see the pattern since last 15 days or 1 month, some arrests have been made by UP police, some from Delhi police. So the indications were coming that the sleeper cells and modules are getting activated, and these agencies were very closely working on that. Now, next is that it's a very surprising that at this point of time, this Ansar Ghazwatul, the organization which was basically silenced in 2020 after killing of the third terrorist of the same organization. If you see the Zakir Musa, 2017 he parted away from Hizbul Mujahideen. Then he created his own organization. I mean, just inspired by the Al Qaeda to create to completely implement the Sharia in India. And he took the fight for 2 years, and finally he was killed. Once he was killed, then another successor rose up from Lalihari, from Lalihar village of Pulwama. And as you know, the history of terrorism, nothing is possible without involvement of South Kashmir. Terrorism started from Anantnag, Pulwama, and if in dream someday it will be shunned, it will be again in the same South Kashmir. So the third terrorist was killed. That his name was Hamid in 2020. So in 2025, probably this doctor, basically he was a person took responsibility to revive the Ansar Ghazwatul. And if you take the incident of attempt to for a very big violence in Gorakhnath Mandir a few years back,
Yes.
that terrorist was also basically Bavasta with the same organization. So it was basically a effort of revivalism of this terror organization, and a very clued up SHO of JNK police, thanks to him, to his clues, his brain, and he very silently and wisely worked on the poster theory, because in the night they were pasting few posters on the masjid and few public places. Same thing happened in 2001 when Jammu Kashmir Freedom Force chief Khalid was killed. That clue was again linked with the pasting posters in the midnight, in the darkness, on the public wall. So he worked very silently, and he is the person, that JK police officer, who brought the entire story before Haryana police. That raid is conducted in Faridabad,
So let me.
Saharanpur. So that is a very great work. It is done, and they basically prevented something very big going to happen. But this current incident of this
So
Lal
you're
Quila,
saying it could have been bigger. It could have been a bigger incident
yeah,
that could have
definitely
happened. We
bigger,
stall
bigger,
that.
it's a bigger plan.
Okay, so just very quickly, viewers, we're getting news that the casualty rate is going up. It's gone up to 10. We're being told that there are some others who are also critical, and that the casualty rate might actually go up. And in fact, in our top bands, we're just going to change that from 8 to now 10, because that's confirmed. We're also told that a slow-moving I-20 came up to a traffic light right outside the metro station, the Red Fort metro station, and suddenly there was a blast triggered in that. And that blast was of such high intensity that 4 or 5 other vehicles around that particular I-20 also exploded. And everyone within those was severely injured. Some died. Body parts were strewn across the blast site, indicating that even though low-grade explosives or some low-grade substance might have exploded, the intensity was so high. And you can see, these are visuals, viewers, to the top left of your screen, of inside the metro station, the escalator, and you can even see that the escalator that goes down into the metro station has borne the brunt of the impact. So obviously the blast was so high intensity that windows, other little booths, etc., where the ticket master sits and others sit, have also been damaged. So there's been extensive damage all around. It would have been a very intense blast. And I want to once again go back to Anshul, if he's there with me. DG BSF, we just spoke to R.K. Yadav, former RNAW officer, is also here with us. I'm just going to go straight across to Ananya. Ananya, what is the news coming out of the LNJP hospital and, of course, from the police? What are you hearing? Ananya, can you hear me? Okay, I don't think we have Ananya right now. We're going to try and quickly patch you, viewers, across to Ananya. The police chief of Delhi has come and given us a soundbite, and in that soundbite, he's been very, very circumspect. He hasn't actually even come out and at any level confirmed that this was a terror incident. So, viewers, that caveat being said, let's go across to Ananya. Yes, Ananya, go ahead, please. Tell us what's happening.
Well, absolutely. We are having people and there's constant support that's being given out by the LNJP administration almost 8 to 10 people who have been reported as casualties here, and more than 20 injured is what we have known. Though it's a kind of a chaotic situation, but we'll have to wait for an official figure to come in. So it is in fact something that the LNJP administration is handling at this particular juncture, and they are ensuring that all kind of a medical support is actually extended to people who are not only injured but also if there is any kind of a casualty, but one can be saved. If you, I'll ask my camera person with Jaguri to show you around as to how situation is. Ambulances are rushing in absolutely at this particular point of time, and constantly medical support is being offered by the LNJP administration, because this is one of the prime hospitals in the national capital.
We're going to cut back across to Anshul to get details from the scene. We've had one preliminary conversation with some insiders in the Delhi police who have given us some more details. The fact that an I-20 car was the one in which this blast was triggered, and you can see the chassis of that particular car mangled, only the tires remain, viewers. But fundamentally, the Delhi police chief has come out and he has said very clearly that there was a blast in a car that approached the traffic light. It crawled up to it. At that particular point in time, it was 6:55 in the evening, prime rush hour traffic, viewers, and the car suddenly explodes. There were 3 individuals inside that car. And the force of that explosion was so great, and the fireball so immense, that it engulfed 3 or 4 other cars in the vicinity, reducing them to wrecks. Anshul is there with us. Anshul, give me a quick update from what you're hearing from within your police sources. What really is the investigation focusing on?
I just spoke to a top police officer out here in the national capital, and the details have come out of the investigation that has been done till now. The blast that happened on the rear end of the vehicle, which means that the vehicle blasted from behind. That is from the boot, is what the police is suspecting at this point in time, because the kind of impact that has happened on that vehicle, it is becoming evidently clear that the blast happened from the rear end. Apart from that, there were 3 people who were present inside the vehicle. These people whose bodies has been recovered. There are no splinters.
7 बजे दिल्ली में लाल किले के पास सुभाष मार्ग ट्रैफिक सिग्नल पर I-20 हुंडई गाड़ी में एक ब्लास्ट हुआ है। ब्लास्ट के कारण आसपास की कुछ गाड़ियां और कुछ मार्ग पर जा रहे लोग भी इंजर्ड होने के समाचार हैं। प्राथमिक सूचना जो मिली है उसमें कुछ लोग हताहत भी हुए हैं। ब्लास्ट की सूचना आते ही 10 मिनट में दिल्ली क्राइम ब्रांच, दिल्ली स्पेशल ब्रांच की टीमें स्पॉट पर पहुंची है। NSG और NIA की टीम FSL के साथ अभी गहन जांच करने का शुरू किया है। आसपास के स्थान के सभी CCTV कैमरा और बाकी सब चीज़ों की जांच के आदेश दे दिए हैं। मेरी CP दिल्ली से भी बात हुई है, स्पेशल ब्रांच के इंचार्ज से भी बात हुई है। CP दिल्ली और स्पेशल ब्रांच के इंचार्ज स्पॉट पर मौजूद हैं। हम सभी संभावनाओं को तलाश रहे हैं और सभी संभावनाओं को ध्यान में रखकर इसकी गहन जांच की जाएगी। सभी ऑप्शन की तुरंत जांच होकर नतीजा जो आएगा, जांच हम जनता के सामने रखेंगे। मैं कुछ ही देर में स्पॉट पर भी जा रहा हूं और अस्पताल में भी मैं तुरंत जाऊंगा।
Well, the Union Home Minister says he's going to be very quickly going across to the spot to see for himself what has transpired over the last 3 hours. Viewers, this has been a deadly, deadly blast outside the vicinities of the Red Fort in Chandni Chowk. It has taken place within a few feet of the metro station there, the Red Fort metro station, and I-20 suddenly exploded. The I-20, the explosion was so grave and so big and overwhelming, of such a high intensity that it reduced a few cars around it to wrecks, and also several others, viewers, were injured and possibly even died. Let's listen once again to Amit Shah.
दिल्ली में लाल किले के पास सुभाष मार्ग ट्रैफिक सिग्नल पर I-20 हुंडई गाड़ी में एक ब्लास्ट हुआ है। ब्लास्ट के कारण आसपास की कुछ गाड़ियां और कुछ मार्ग पर जा रहे लोग भी इंजर्ड होने के समाचार हैं। प्राथमिक सूचना जो मिली है उसमें कुछ लोग हताहत भी हुए हैं। ब्लास्ट की सूचना आते ही 10 मिनट में दिल्ली क्राइम ब्रांच, दिल्ली स्पेशल ब्रांच की टीमें स्पॉट पर पहुंची है। NSG और NIA की टीम FSL के साथ अभी गहन जांच करने का शुरू किया है। आसपास के स्थान के सभी CCTV कैमरा और बाकी सब चीज़ों की जांच के आदेश दे दिए हैं। मेरी CP दिल्ली से भी बात हुई है, स्पेशल ब्रांच के इंचार्ज से भी बात हुई है। CP दिल्ली और स्पेशल ब्रांच के इंचार्ज स्पॉट पर मौजूद हैं। हम सभी संभावनाओं को तराश रहे हैं और सभी संभावनाओं को ध्यान में रखकर इसकी गहन जांच की जाएगी। सभी ऑप्शन की तुरंत जांच होकर नतीजा जो आएगा, जांच हम जनता के सामने रखेंगे। मैं कुछ ही देर में स्पॉट पर भी जा रहा हूं और अस्पताल में भी मैं तुरंत जाऊंगा।
Well, viewers, of course, Delhi police reports directly to the Home Minister. The Prime Minister has also spoken to the Home Minister. He's also spoken to other officials. So monitoring is going on at the topmost levels. And Hyundai I-20 is the one that exploded with 3 people inside it. It creeped up to a traffic light and suddenly there was a blast in it. It wrecked a large number of other vehicles around it. A large number of commuters also were hit. And some, of course, viewers have succumbed. We're getting reports now that the death toll has climbed to 10. 10 people are confirmed dead. There are almost 24 that are being treated at the LNJP hospital, the closest hospital. And, of course, viewers, the special cell of the Delhi police, the crime branch, the FSL and the NIA at the spot trying to gather forensic evidence and work out whether this was an act of terror, and if so, what kind of explosives were used. But prima facie, viewers, we are being told from our sources that this was a terror attack, which means, viewers, for the first time since 2011, since the Delhi High Court blast, there has been a terror attack allegedly of this magnitude. Again, I want to tell you, viewers, we're awaiting official word. All we're getting is sources who are hinting to us that this might be foul play. I cannot confirm that to you right now. We're awaiting explicit word. I just want to quickly go across to some of our guests. Amit Shah, the Union Home Minister, has made it clear that nothing is being ruled out. All possibilities are being investigated. Investigation is on. They're going to have an update given to us in just a few minutes. In fact, he himself is going to be going to the blast site. We're also told that he's going to, in fact, be also going to the hospitals to oversee the relief that is being imparted to some of those that have been injured. Now, I want to go straight across to R.K. Yadav, former RNAW officer. We have Major Arya with us also, and of course, NND Dubey. Dr. Ranganathan also joins the broadcast. Sanju Verma of the Bharatiya Janata Party here with us. Sanju Verma, what can you tell us very quickly about your initial thoughts? Remember that this has all happened in the backdrop of a massive terror crackdown. Do you believe that there is the possibility of this being linked to a larger incident? And if so, what would that mean in the larger context? Sanju Verma.
Deepest condolences to the families of the bereaved, and I hope that those who've been rushed to the hospital, they recover soon enough. I was completely shocked when I heard this. but I'm not surprised, given that, we've now unraveled something that could have led to a bigger disaster had those 3 doctors not been captured. And now it's amply clear that those 3 doctors, from whom 2,900 kgs worth of explosives, 360 kgs worth of RDX, AK-47, AK-56 rifles, etc., were recovered. They have implicitly or explicitly admitted to the fact that a larger terror plot was